Let me ask you something real quick. If you're over 60, do you feel like your strength just isn't coming back the way it used to, no matter how healthy you eat or how much you try to stay active? What if I told you that muscle loss isn't the problem? The signal you're sending your muscles is. And what if one of the most powerful muscle rebuilding foods for your age isn't a supplement or a shake, but a simple type of cheese most people have been told to avoid? In the next few minutes, I'll show you how this one food helps rebuild muscle, protect your strength, and make your body respond again like it did years ago. So don't go anywhere. Muscle loss after 60 is often treated like an unavoidable fact of life, something you're simply supposed to accept as the years go by, but that belief does far more harm than good because it quietly convinces people to stop trying. The truth is that muscle loss happens not because your body is broken, but because it has changed the way it responds to food and activity. When you're younger, your muscles are highly sensitive, meaning even small amounts of protein and casual movement are enough to maintain strength. As you age, that sensitivity decreases, so the same habits that once worked no longer give the same results. This is where most people get stuck, doing what they've always done and assuming the lack of progress means decline is inevitable, when in reality the signal just isn't strong enough anymore. After 60, your muscles need clearer instructions. They need to be told very directly that they are still needed. Nutrition plays a massive role in this, because protein isn't just fuel, it's information. It tells your body whether to maintain muscle, build it, or slowly let it fade away. Aging muscles require a higher quality protein signal to trigger repair and growth, and when that signal is missing or too weak, muscle breakdown slowly outweighs muscle building. This is why people can feel weaker even if their weight hasn't changed and their appetite seems normal. Another important piece many people don't realize is that muscle loss doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual, quiet, and easy to ignore at first. A little less grip strength, a little slower walking speed, a little more effort to stand up. Until one day those small changes add up, and daily life feels harder than it should. The danger isn't just weakness, it's what weakness leads to: reduced mobility, increased risk of falls, loss of confidence, and dependence on others. But this process can be slowed, stopped, and even reversed when the body receives the right signals consistently. Aging muscles still respond to training and nutrition, they just require more precision. They need enough protein at one time, not tiny amounts spread too thin, and they need protein that is rich in the specific amino acids that activate muscle repair. Without this, the body prioritizes survival over strength, conserving energy instead of investing it in muscle tissue. This doesn't mean extreme diets or excessive workouts are necessary. It means being intentional. Small adjustments can create big changes when they align with how the body actually works at this stage of life. It's also important to understand that muscle is not just about appearance. Muscle is metabolic health, joint protection, balance, and independence. Strong muscles help regulate blood sugar, support bone density, and reduce inflammation. Losing muscle accelerates aging, while maintaining it slows that process down in very real, measurable ways. When you approach aging with the mindset that strength is still possible, your choices shift. You start eating to support function, moving to maintain ability, and respecting your body without underestimating it, because the body is still listening, still adapting, still capable of responding when given a reason to do so. Leucine plays a unique role in muscle health that becomes especially important as we age, yet it's rarely talked about in a way that makes sense to everyday people. Leucine is one of the essential amino acids found in protein, but unlike most others, it acts like a switch rather than just a building block. When leucine levels in the blood rise high enough, they signal the muscles to start repairing and rebuilding. This process is known as muscle protein synthesis, and it's the foundation of maintaining strength and muscle mass. The problem is that as we get older, this switch becomes harder to turn on. Muscles develop what's called anabolic resistance, meaning they no longer respond strongly to small or moderate protein intake the way they once did. Because of this resistance, simply eating protein is often not enough after 60. You can eat what looks like a reasonable amount of protein on paper and still fail to trigger muscle repair if the leucine content is too low or too spread out. This is why many older adults feel frustrated, doing their best with diet and activity, yet continuing to lose strength. Their muscles aren't receiving a strong enough leucine signal to activate growth. Without that signal, protein gets used for energy or basic maintenance instead of rebuilding muscle tissue. This is where aged cheeses become especially powerful. Through the aging process, proteins in cheese are partially broken down, making amino acids like leucine more concentrated and easier to absorb. A small serving of aged cheese can deliver a meaningful amount of leucine without requiring a large volume of food. This is important for older adults who may have reduced appetite, digestion issues, or difficulty consuming large portions of meat. Instead of forcing the body to work harder, aged cheese provides a direct and efficient signal to the muscles. Another advantage is how quickly leucine from aged cheese becomes available in the bloodstream. Faster absorption means a stronger and more immediate muscle-building response, which is exactly what aging muscles need. When leucine reaches a certain threshold, it activates pathways inside muscle cells that tell them to repair damage and reinforce themselves. Without reaching that threshold, those pathways stay quiet, and muscle loss slowly continues. Aged cheese helps bridge that gap in a practical, enjoyable way. Leucine also works best in combination with movement. Even light resistance, such as standing exercises, bands, or carry groceries, makes muscle cells more receptive to leucine's signal. When movement and leucine-rich foods come together, the muscle-building response is amplified. This means older adults don't need intense workouts to benefit, just consistent movement paired with the right nutrition. What makes leucine-rich aged cheese especially valuable is its simplicity. It doesn't require complicated meal planning, supplements, or strict routines. It can be added to foods people already enjoy, enhancing both flavor and function. When nutrition feels accessible and satisfying, consistency improves. And consistency is what allows leucine to do its job over time. Instead of fighting the aging process, leucine helps the body adapt to it, reminding muscles that they are still needed, still supported, and still capable of responding when given the right signal. Aged cheeses like Parmesan offer much more than just protein, which is why they stand out as such a valuable food for people over 60 who want to protect their strength and overall health. While many foods provide protein, not all protein sources come with the same supporting nutrients, and this matters more as the body ages. Muscle does not exist in isolation. It relies on strong bones, healthy joints, stable hormones, and proper nutrient absorption to function well. Aged cheeses support all of these systems at the same time, making them uniquely effective for maintaining physical resilience. One of the most important benefits of aged cheese is its impact on bone health. After 60, bone density naturally declines, increasing the risk of fractures and mobility loss. Aged cheeses contain calcium and phosphorus in a highly bioavailable form, meaning the body can absorb and use them efficiently. They also provide vitamin K2, a nutrient that helps guide calcium into bones rather than allowing it to accumulate in blood vessels. This combination supports bone strength in a way that isolated supplements often fail to achieve. Stronger bones create a stable foundation for muscles, allowing them to work more effectively and reducing the risk of injury during daily movement. Joint health is another area where aged cheeses quietly help. The healthy fats found in traditional cheeses support anti-inflammatory processes in the body, which can ease joint stiffness and discomfort. When joints move more comfortably, people are more likely to stay active. Regular movement is one of the most important factors in preserving muscle. This creates a positive cycle where better nutrition supports movement, and movement supports muscle and bone health. Hormone support is another overlooked benefit. As we age, levels of hormones that help preserve muscle mass, such as testosterone and growth hormone, naturally decline. While food cannot completely reverse this process, adequate intake of healthy fat and high-quality protein helps support the body's remaining hormone production. Aged cheeses provide both in a balanced, natural form. This hormonal support plays a subtle but meaningful role in maintaining muscle strength, energy levels, and overall vitality. Digestibility is also a major factor. Many older adults struggle with digestion, particularly with large portions of meat or foods high in lactose. Aged cheeses are typically low in lactose and easier to digest, even for those who believe they are lactose intolerant. The aging process breaks down proteins and sugars, reducing digestive strain and improving nutrient absorption. Better absorption means more of the protein, minerals, and vitamins actually reach muscle and bones instead of being wasted. Beyond the physical benefits, aged cheese supports long-term consistency because it is enjoyable. Foods that taste good are more likely to be eaten regularly, and regular intake is what creates lasting results. When nutrition feels restrictive or unpleasant, people tend to give up. Aged cheese adds flavor and satisfaction to meals, making healthy eating feel sustainable rather than forced. This combination of muscle support, bone strength, hormone balance, digestibility, and enjoyment makes aged cheeses far more than just a protein source. turning them into a practical, powerful ally for maintaining strength and independence. Later in life, aged cheeses like Parmesan and Pecorino play a much deeper role in health after 60 than most people realize, because they work on multiple systems in the body at the same time instead of targeting just one problem. Muscle strength depends on more than protein alone. It depends on bones being strong enough to support movement, joints being comfortable enough to allow activity, hormones being stable enough to support repair, and digestion being efficient enough to absorb nutrients. Aged cheeses support all of these areas in a natural and balanced way, which is why they are especially useful as we get older. Bone health becomes a major concern after 60, and muscle and bone are inseparable. Muscles pull on bones, and bones respond by staying dense and strong. Aged enjoyable, sustainable nutrition is one of the most overlooked factors in long-term health and strength, especially after 60, because success is not determined by what works on paper, but by what people can actually maintain in real life. Many nutrition plans fail, not because they are ineffective, but because they are too restrictive, complicated, or unpleasant to follow consistently. When eating feels like a chore or a punishment, motivation fades quickly, and without consistency, even the best nutrition strategy becomes meaningless. This is why enjoyment matters far more than most people think, particularly when the goal is rebuilding muscle and staying strong later in life. As we age, routines become more important than intensity. The body responds better to steady, repeated signals than to short bursts of extreme effort followed by long periods of inconsistency. Enjoyable foods make those signals reliable. When meals taste good and feel satisfying, people naturally repeat them without feeling deprived. This repetition is what allows the body to adapt, repair, and strengthen over time. Muscle does not rebuild from a single high-protein meal or one good workout. It rebuilds from consistent nutrition and movement day after day. There is also a psychological side to this that cannot be ignored. Food is deeply tied to comfort, culture, and quality of life. Removing all pleasure from eating can lead to stress, frustration, and eventually giving up. Stress itself works against muscle maintenance by increasing inflammation and interfering with recovery. When nutrition supports both the body and the mind, it becomes a source of stability rather than pressure. Enjoyable foods reduce the mental resistance that often comes with lifestyle changes, making healthy habits feel natural instead of forced. Sustainability also means flexibility. Life, after 60, still includes social meals, family gatherings, and personal preferences. A nutrition approach that allows room for enjoyment fits more easily into these moments. When people feel they can eat in a way that aligns with their lifestyle, they are less likely to abandon their goals during challenging times. This flexibility keeps progress moving forward even when routines are disrupted, which is critical for maintaining muscle and strength long term. Consistency in nutrition sends a repeated message to the body that muscle is still valuable. Every time the body receives adequate protein, supportive nutrients, and energy, it is reminded to maintain strength rather than break it down. Over time, these repeated signals add up, resulting in improved mobility, better balance, and greater confidence in daily activities. Small, enjoyable choices compound into meaningful change. The most powerful nutrition strategy is not the one that promises the fastest results, but the one that fits seamlessly into daily life. When people find foods they enjoy that also support their goals, they stop relying on willpower and start building habits. Habits are what carry strength forward into later decades because they don't depend on motivation or discipline alone. Enjoyable, sustainable nutrition turns healthy eating from a temporary effort into a lifestyle that quietly supports muscle, independence, and vitality for years to come.